Hello again, Gills fans. Welcome back to the latest episode of My Gills With. This morning, I'm happy to say that I'm joined on Skype by James Hawkins, who you can find on Twitter. James, you will know from the Gills Fancast and now also the recently launched Inside the Changing Room podcast, which you can find on Twitter and Instagram if you want to go and give that a follow. First couple of chats has involved Charlton legend Chris Solly, and I believe there's a couple of Gills players in the pipeline as well. So go and check him out. But first of all, James, how you doing? You're good?
Yeah, good, mate. Trying to keep sane.
Trying to keep sane, trying to keep busy. Yeah, I know how you feel, mate. It's weird, and it's really weird still. But let's not talk about COVID-19 today, or whether the season will end or not, or how it's going to be decided.
We've had a long enough
chat on with these questions, which you've had for a couple of days. So we'll go right back to the beginning. You're probably going to make me feel really old this morning, but first question, as I always ask, how long have you been supporting the Gills?
So I've been supporting Gills around about 18 years now. So yeah, I mean, funny story actually. So when I first went to Gills, my first game was 2002, 03 season, Coventry at home. We lost 2-0. I think I should have seen signs of things to come, really. But yeah, my dad kind of it was a bit of a weird one because Charlton were actually in the Premier League at the time, and my dad, funny enough, actually wanted to take me to Charlton because they were in the Premier League and he wanted to go and see the big boys. And my mum went, too far, you're not going. Like it's just too much travelling. Why don't you just take him down the road to Gills? And yeah, like went to my first game, lost 2-0, and my dad went, "You enjoyed that, boy?" I went, "Actually, yeah, I loved it." And I think we played away at Rotherham the week after. I didn't go to that one, and then we beat Watford 3-0 at home. Yep. I think Hess might have scored. So, and then after that, me and my dad went and bought season tickets, and I've been fans ever since.
So you caught the last couple of years in the Championship then, or Division 1 as it was called then?
Yeah. I mean,
saw some good players. It was a good side back then. I mean, the first 2 years in the Championship were incredible. 2002-03 was still really good, and then I think it started to slide a little bit after that, unfortunately. But you've answered my next question. First Gills game attended was a Coventry defeat at home, but I think like any fan for any club, something just sticks, doesn't it? And you just think, I've got to come back. I suppose if you win, you think, oh, this is lovely. And if you lose, you think, I've got to come back and maybe try and see us win. And then before you know it, it snowballs. And like you say, you're a season ticket holder and 18 years later and numerous relegations and a couple of promotions. And here we are.
I think the fact is that I've been away from Gills before, and I've stayed away a couple of times due to other factors and things like that, or I've gone to different grounds a couple of weeks before. But as soon as you walk through those turnstiles and walk through the Rainham End and walk out onto the terraces, it just feels like home, and you just get that sense of this is my football club and this is where I belong. It just has, you can't describe it. You can't. No. There is no words to describe it. It's the simple fact is that I vividly remember it was a few years back under Justin, and I'd been away for a couple of games, and I walked back in and just saw the ground filling up, and obviously Justin was out there and the players, and you just you got a sense of relief of this is where I belong, and this is my football club. And as much as we've been through so many problems, whether it's been off the field, on the field, relegations, like you said, promotions and things like that, they never can stop you coming back.
No.
And people have their reasons on why they want to stay away, but I don't think I can ever properly stay away. The football club has something so unique and special that it just draws you back in.
Yeah, I think you're right. And obviously, probably this season was when there was plenty of people that decided to stay away. Yeah. But we won't talk about that because that's for another chat, I'd imagine. But yeah, I think there was probably a couple of times under AD when I was thinking, and I said to Bosley, said to me as well, we were like, I didn't have a season ticket, I find it really hard to come at the moment. But you do, and like you say, it's probably because it just over time it just gets ingrained into you, and there's something magnetic about it. And if you keep going back through the rubbish times, then you're sure as hell going to keep hoping and wishing and praying that the good times return. And
it feels better as well. It feels better when those good times arrive.
You appreciate them more, don't you? Yeah, you do. You appreciate them a lot more. I couldn't imagine supporting like a City or or Liverpool going back to like the 80s and the 90s. I mean, it must be lovely. Don't get me wrong that you think, oh, we're going to watch us win 90% of the time, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the Premier League anymore, full stop, because of all that's going on up there. But yeah, I know what you mean entirely, and it does. It just keeps dragging you back. Right, from first game attended, we move on to memories. First significant Gills memory then, something that really stuck in your mind, like whether it was a game or a player or, well, maybe not a player because that's a question later on, but like, a proper like game or a moment in a game.
Yeah, I think two really. I think one not so recent, one more recent. The 4-3 against Millwall when Nyron scored the last minute winner.
Yeah.
I think just that moment was, just unbelievable. Just the simple fact that you saw the Millwall fans just absolutely just lose it. And
I was going to say it probably helped a bit more that it was Millwall.
Well, I still remember the full-time whistle going when we'd lost, and the Millwall fans trying to get to their manager at the end of the game, trying to get over the advertising boards because they're just considered last minute loss. So that moment was, and it felt just Priestfield as well erupting, and that, I think that's what saddens me so much, is that you look back at those times and you look back at the Rainham End and things like that, and it isn't quite the same as what it used to be. Just those days in the Championship when we were so good. Certainly that year, where obviously the year that we beat Millwall and things like that, and just the way the Gillingham fans were in that Rainham End. I know Steve has obviously said it a few times about when that Rainham End gets rocking, like it really does get going. But have we really seen it properly in full force for a number of years? Not really.
I think West Ham's probably the closest we've got to it this season. That was very good, or last season, I suppose we have to call it now. It looks like it's going that way. But even if you look at like Cardiff last season, it wasn't full up. The atmosphere was decent, don't get me wrong. But there is always that sort of tinge of disappointment that, come the next week when we've got Accrington at home, or, Walsall at home, or Northampton at home, that there's only going to be 4,500, 5,500 in there at the moment.
And I think my second memory probably has to be when Conan McDonald took it upon himself to pretty much secure us League One safety. Smart says it all. League One safety against Bristol Rovers.
Because I missed it.
You missed it, did you?
That's why I smiled, because it's been mentioned on about 3 of these videos. I think Louis mentioned it. I think David's mentioned it, who's going to be on soon. And I was in Dortmund. That was my stag do weekend.
I mean, I think I remember those two goals going in and Cody wheeling off, and it wasn't just a goal. It was the fact of what Cody had done for us in so many spells that he'd played for us. It felt like that was Cody's goodbye.
Yeah, it ended up being his final 2 goals, didn't it?
And it almost felt like that. Yeah, it was his good. It was the fact that it kept us in League One, because I think the simple fact is that had he not kept us in League One, I think we might have well been banging trouble the following year. I think that we were on a downward slope, and we were fast falling. And you see a lot of teams, and I said this on a lot of podcasts on the Gills Fancast, that the problem, and I remember saying it that year, is that if we don't stay up this year, we could end up going the same way as like a Luton or a Leyton Orient, where they end up free falling. And I think we were going that way.
Yeah, I think we said on a few Monday reviews that I didn't fancy that team to have the mental fortitude, if we did drop below the line, to ever come out above it again.
Yeah,
and luckily we managed to just about stay above it all the time.
And the simple fact is that had we not stayed in the division that year, would we have done as well? Would Steve would AD probably would have ended up still getting a job? I don't know, because obviously, but would have Steve come in and done that well? We certainly wouldn't have then gone and got Steve Evans. It just wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, because you never know, we could still be in League Two. That's the thing.
And I just think that goal is such a big moment in our history, because in terms of the importance of it, the goodbye from Cody, and the fact I think it saved us from a complete freefall as a football club.
No, it's a good one. Yeah, like you say, when you look at it as a bigger picture rather than just the context of the moment.
Yeah,
it had massive reverberations, like you say, in terms of keeping us where, dare I say it, where we probably should be from League One. Yeah. But again, that's for another conversation. And that you get a different opinion depending on the age of the person that you ask the question to. But right, that's first abiding memories. Best ever live Gills goal.
Yeah, I said this.
I was sat probably 3 seats away from you from probably one of them. Pratton Park.
Well, yeah. I mean, we ended up literally like falling 3 rows down at Pratton Park, didn't we?
It was ridiculous. Well, to be fair, the season before we scored 3 good goals the season before, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Win, but
the Tom Eaves, yeah. I mean, the Tom Eaves one is not the one I sent you.
I deleted it. I didn't want to try and. I must admit, I deleted the conversation because I didn't want to sort of get it into my head what you were going to tell me.
Yeah. So the one that I originally went with was Curtis Weston at home against Shrewsbury, where he pops.
One from about. He seemed like he was about 40 yards out and just hammered it in the top corner.
Yeah, he pops it off his chest and just smashes it.
It's still going up, I think, as it hits the net. It'd probably be on the top of the Rainham if it carried on through the net.
Like as soon as it leaves his boot, it just goes, and he's any goalkeeper in the world isn't stopping it.
No.
It's an unbelievable strike, and I'm sitting right behind it as well, and it's unbelievable technique from. And I'll tell you what, we'll speak about Curtis because I actually think he was very, very, very underrated. I was watching a few videos back from that time when he played for us, and some of the things, sheer ability, a striker of a ball, so clean.
He make his debut at Leeds at like the age of about 16, I think, and then went to Millwall,
And that League 2 year completely dominated that midfield for us. Completely dominated it. Used to pick the ball off Josh Wright and just go. And
I remember him being very good in the final.
Yeah.
At Wembley alongside. Yeah, it was Josh and Stuart Lewis were alongside him, weren't they, that day?
Yeah, but he had unbelievable ability, Curtis, and he could pop that. But like you say, the second goal that we were sitting next to each other, the man with the long hair.
That could be me at the moment, to be honest.
I think we've all got a problem.
Oh, it's horrendous. Absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, how he does it. Obviously, we were obviously at the other end, but obviously Luke plays that famous diag that he used to love hitting, and I'm pretty sure was it Max that Max the initial header, and you see Tom kind of flick it with one foot, flick it with a left foot, and you're thinking, surely not. And
I think as well, because we were so far away, I almost didn't register the enormity of what he'd done until later on when we watched it on the highlights. Because you were like, well, our faces were like open wide. We just didn't know what had happened.
I know.
And then I think there was a video a Portsmouth fan put on, didn't he? And all the Pompey fans in that Fratton end were applauding it as well.
Yeah.
And that was when you start thinking, he's done something pretty bloody good here. And then you see it back that night and you just think, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, unbelievable goal. And for me, I was one of Tom's biggest critics when he was at the football club. In terms of his all-round ability, I didn't think he was the best technical footballer, but you can't argue with his goal scoring record for us. He averages one goal every 2 games.
Yeah.
And for a guy that had only scored 4 and 40 the season before at the Oval, I thought when we let Cody go and we brought him in, I was like, I remember tweeting it out when Tom arrived at the football club going, who's this donkey? And I was like, why have we gone and replaced one of our best strikers with him?
And he ended up with a better goals to game ratio.
Yeah, he did. He did. And I think my biggest annoyance with him is that he spent most of his time out wide. But
yeah, I think the first season particularly, he wanted. I think he was so desperate to impress that he just kept trying to get the ball wherever it was.
But the simple fact is that without Tom Eaves, would probably be in League Two.
Yeah, there's a chance of that again. Yeah.
And so, a lot of his goals were very important. And at times when he wasn't in the side, you could see that we were just avoid of any sort of outlet up there.
Stocky referred to him just after half time against Southend that first season as a clumsy dinosaur. And then he got a hat trick. And Stocky is deeply in love with him now.
Yeah.
To the point where it's a tad creepy. But yeah, that was his description of Tom that day. I'm sure it was clumsy dinosaur. And then he scored one. And I said, I've never seen a performance from an individual where a switch was flicked and he went from looking a little bit clumsy and a bit cumbersome, and like he didn't have a first touch. And then for 35 minutes, he was literally unplayable.
Yeah, couldn't get near him.
No,
couldn't get near him. And yeah, he fully deserves his move to the Championship. Fully deserved it. Would have actually been quite interesting had we actually managed to keep him this year. What would have happened to this Gillingham side?
Yeah, I think we'd probably be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's lots of ifs and buts in between that. But yeah, if you imagine that he could continue at a similar rate, we'd have scored another probably 10, 15 goals, which probably means the 2-2s and the 0-0s would have probably been 3-2s and 1-0s to us, and we'd have another 6, 8, 10 points. Oh, you don't know though, do you?
No,
sure,
no, of course you don't. Of course you don't. But yeah, what a great guy. What a great guy as well. What a great guy.
Yeah, top bloke, yeah.
Yeah, me and you have obviously both sat down and talked with him.
He ruined Stocky at the Player of the Year, though. Absolutely ruined him to the point where Stocky spent the rest of the year in the Carsley.
I remember, like, there was someone's tab behind the bar. I can't remember. It was, I don't know, someone at the club, I think. And me and Tom just kept buying shots off it all night.
I remember it was his fault that I didn't actually eat any dinner. I remember eating the starter, and then by the time I'd come back from the bar after doing shots with Tom, they'd already cleared the mains away. So I think I had a stale, crusty roll and then just continued getting hammered with the rest of them.
You paid 75 quid for a roll.
Yeah, and a bit of pate, about that big, I think it was. But we had a good night. Should have been last weekend, shouldn't it, this year's one, but never mind.
Well, Stocky didn't even see much of it, though, did he?
No, he's only got pictures for memories, bless him. Anyway, we digress. From greatest Gills goal, we have to move on to a full campaign. I think I probably know your answer, but I'll let you take it away. And is this?
Well, you're wearing the top, aren't you? What a year! What a year! Unbelievable! What a special group of players. I obviously interviewed one for my new channel yesterday in Keds, and just his smile when as soon as I mentioned, let's talk about that year. He was like, that year then. And he was like, you could almost see him just like proud and what a set of players. I'll tell you what, I'll tell you a funny story that he told us on the podcast. So basically they went into pre-season. No one's ever heard this story before, so I'm going to reread it on here. This is the first pre-season with Martin Allen.
Exclusive Gills fans, here we go.
Basically, pre-season under Martin, walk in, first day in the office, gets all the players. Basically, Martin gets the whole squad in, and he has to. He sends all the players upstairs, and they've got to write down on 2 bits of paper what they like about training, what they don't like about training.
Right.
And they've then got to put it in a pot. Basically, Keds turns to Adam Barrett and goes, I'm going to tell the gaffer that I can't read and write. And so, basically, Martin then, once all the... and Adam Barrett was like, no, you're not. But go on, that's a great idea. Like, let's go along with it. And then he gets all the players together, Martin. And he goes, right, boys, You put all your suggestions in a box. Is there any issues? And Danny puts his hands up, and goes, yeah, Gaffer, can I have a word? He was like, I just need it in private. And Martin was like, no, you got to tell us all in front of the boys. We're all in this together.
Right.
And Danny goes, and the boys know what's going on here.
They all know. It's not just Barrett that knows.
No. They know.
Right,
they know.
okay.
The only person that doesn't know is John Schofield and Martin Allen. and the boys are trying at this point not to laugh, not to crack up. And Danny goes, Gaffer, I can't read and write. And with that, the whole room just absolutely goes mental. And John goes, don't worry, kids, don't worry. I'll write it down for you. So he pulls Danny away, and he goes, all right, kids, you can't read and write. That's no problem. I'll write it down for you. What and wrote it down. And Keds walks in the next day, ready to tell Martin that he's told a complete lie. And Martin goes up to Keds, Dan, I've got a present for you. And Keds, oh God, what's this? I've gone too far with this, but I can't let go. And he said, don't worry, Dan. And with that, he pulls out 2 books of beginners reading and writing.
So he's got all that trouble, and it's all on a.
And he was like,
on a wine.
And Martin goes, and kids, if you want one-to-one sessions on how to read and write, don't worry, my door's always open. And Dan left it all the way through that season. And eventually, when they went to Benidorm at the end to celebrate winning the league, he finally told Martin Allen that he could read and write.
He went on the whole campaign.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. That is superb. Fair play. No, that's a proper prank. I enjoy stuff like that. Good.
So, yeah, no, that year, I mean, the signings that he made that summer, you kind of, every time that we were releasing one, it was Stuart Nelson, then it was Adam Barrett, then it was Dion Burton, then it was David Wright, then it was Anton Robinson, then it was Tom Flanagan on loan. And it was all players that had kind of then been there and done it. And then obviously the January, when we were going a little bit stale, Martin knew where to add, and he went and added Leon Legg. Yeah. And yeah, you kind of just thought this squad is so special, just so unique, so many leaders. But also what was amazing was that he was changing the bloody team every week. And he still. I
remember Kids, when he spoke to us, said that he scored 2 on the Saturday, and then the following week weren't even in the 18. And he was like, what are you doing? But then Martin explained it, and he said, look, there's bigger games coming up, and we need to keep everyone fresh. And he understood it. And that was the thing, that whatever happened, those that weren't in the squad understood that he was doing it for the greater good. And again, it comes back to bigger pictures. And he said, really got it right, and he won a league title for us. So,
like Keds was saying to me yesterday, like, he's never been so fit in his life under Martin Allen. He said, like, the amount of running that we did. He said to me that, like, his boy Charlie Allen. Yeah. He said he wasn't the best ability wise, but he said, oh my God, couldn't that boy run? He said, like, he was not only just a few yards in front of the whole squad when they were doing running session, he was miles. He said he used to like overlap people running, and he just said it was down to James Russell. He said one story about being out in France in pre-season where Malcolm joined in. There's Ked's told you that story about Malcolm Stedman.
Might have done.
Joining in with a kickball session.
Yeah, I think he did.
Where he passed out.
Yeah, when he flaked out. Yeah. I'm sure he mentioned it either that or before we started recording, but I do recall it vaguely.
Yeah, joined in with a kickball session and ended up. He said he was about 38 degrees and Malcolm Stedman passed out, and ambulance arrived and like before they even got him in the ambulance, he woke up and he was like, no, I'm not going to hospital. So Malcolm used to do all the team talks. Oh, what a year. And the first and only time I've ever cried at a football game when we won the league. I was in tears. I was in floods of tears.
I've cried a few times watching Gills. Northampton away.
Yeah.
Man City at Wembley, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I bet.
Wigan at Wembley. to get out, but completely the opposite end of the spectrum compared to that one. Yeah, I think that's probably the main three. Relegations, you tend to see them coming, didn't you, a little bit? But
yeah, the Wycombe one was hard to take under Stimpson because we were the complete.
Yeah, I've been researching that this morning for a future interview, and the fact that it was Exeter won, Tranmere won,
Hartlepool
got a point against Brentford, I think it was. Yeah, and then we just rolled over and died.
Yeah. Well, I spoke to Mark Stimpson.
It's today, isn't it? It is today, 10 years ago. So I've just tweeted it out. Happy with
I spoke to Mark Stimpson on the Fancast channel a few weeks back, and I just said that I remember that day vividly when Simon Jackson put one over the bar from a yard out, and it would have put us. I think it would have put us 1-0 up. Yeah. And said to Stim, I said, "Did you know?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, as soon as Jacko missed that chance from a yard out, he said he knew. He said he knew that he couldn't do anything because he said he could have put his house, mortgage, car, keys, the whole lot on Jacko putting that away, and he didn't. And he said he then knew. He said he slumped back in his dugout and he knew that it weren't going to be his day.
Yeah, I think there are moments, especially even as fans, when you think. I think like one that sticks in my mind was Shrewsbury at home, end of 2015-16. And I think we lost 3-2. Cody come back that day, I think scored an absolute worldie from a free kick. But I think they had 3 shots in the whole game. I think one went in the top corner, one was an overhead kick, and one was a deflection. I think we hit the post, the bar had about 3 cleared off the line, it seemed, and we lost 3-2. I remember walking out the ground and going, we ain't getting in the playoffs. You just know what's happening. But anyway, we've done the great season. Let's move on to greatest Gills manager. And does it tie in quite nicely?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. Yeah, he's special man, special guy. Made us believe in a side that. Well, I don't think you, Matt. You might be able to help me on a little bit on this. That how does that side there compare to kind of the previous? Forget the League Two title promotion winning side. I'm on about how does that side compare to the other ones that we've done?
I'd back the other runs every day of the week.
Yeah. I meant more characters wise and.
We definitely had it's difficult because I didn't go to a lot of that championship season. Unfortunately, I was working. That was when I was in the pub trade, so I missed pretty much most of the season, which is one of my massive disappointments being a Gills fan. But I'd only just got into the pub trade. I wasn't in a position to be able to leave staff to run it for me for a few hours on a Saturday. So such is life. Yeah. And by the time I'd started going back again, it was League One. We were struggling. But yeah, obviously watching it via TV and social media and that type of thing. And obviously it was before I was on Twitter. There was proper characters in that 2012 team. You've already mentioned them, like you say. Nels came in, had unbelievable experience, probably got better as a keeper while he was there. We all know at the end he started dropping off a little bit, but Adam Barrett, unbelievable leader. Yeah. Proper, what I'd call a proper defender as well, in the sense that he's not one of them modern day centre halves that has to be able to play. He just put his body on the line, he'd kick everyone, he'd win everything in the air, and he loved the tackle. Leggy come in, like you say, done a great job in shoring us up when we were just having a wobble. David Wright, people tend to forget that loan spell where he only played probably a handful of games. He was less than a dozen games. But what a calming influence in the middle of the park. Dion Burton, you could see his class all the time. First touch to die for. Played for, I think, Derby County in the Premier League and was a Jamaican international, I think, if I remember rightly. Yeah. Keds. I mean, what a romantic story. You know, local boy, born down the road. And what a perfect day for him in terms of the Wimbledon thing. All right, it'd been lovely for us if we'd won the day we were crowned champions, but the point kept his old club up. Yeah. If he'd sat there and said, if there is a man up top, and said, I want to pick a perfect day, this is going to be it, he certainly got it. But yeah, there were Miles Weston. People forget how good Miles was. Yeah. And again, similarly to probably Matty Jarvis before, when Matty used to play, and he used to play on the left, he'd feint to go on the outside and drop a shoulder and whip it far corner. And 9 times out of 10, it ended up bottom corner. Miles was the other way. He'd go on the outside and drill it across the keeper. Defenders knew what he was going to do, but they couldn't stop him from doing it. That was the thing.
Every time Miles picked up the ball, I always felt like I was on the edge of my seat because he's got he's going
to
make
everything that you wanted, and he was probably a throwback winger in the sense that he had the touchline. He'd get on the outside of his fullback, whereas now we play these inverted wingers, and it's all got a little bit more complicated, I suppose. And we've got an interview coming out today with a player who talks about probably being ahead of his time in that he'd thrive more now in the modern game, whereas when he was playing for us, it was a 4-4-2, and he was probably a number 10 or someone that liked to drift into holes and gaps in between the lines. But I don't want to give it away.
Gills fans will enjoy it, though. Matt's told me. So
yeah, I think they will. And it should be out before we actually get this watched. So that's a weird bit of conversation that now makes no sense at all. And we've just wasted 2 minutes. But yeah, Miles was a proper sort of feet on the touchline winner. You know, like, I'm not the same quality, obviously, but like Ryan Giggs used to be. You look at the United sides in the 90s, Giggsy, they had Kanchelskis, the other side. They had Lee Sharp would come in and do a job. Even when they won the treble, they had still Giggs. They had Beckham the other side.
Yeah.
Beckham who didn't need to run past players because his first touch and his crossing ability was just an absolute joke.
Yeah.
But yeah, Miles was brilliant that season. And he'd done all right the season after. And we all had to step up and learn. But yeah, and in terms of Martin, again, he had players that could play. But we had players that, when we had to dig in and we had to battle and we had to fight and we had to do it ugly, we were able to do it ugly.
Yeah, I think this is the perfect comparison as well. Is that I used to go down to a lot of the training ground sessions that Martin invited fans down, and he made you feel like you were part of the squad. He didn't do any coaching; it was all John Schofield. Yeah. But he was just such a good man manager that the players loved him. The players absolutely loved him, and the fans loved him, and he loved the fans, and he loved the football club. And you heard it when he did the interview with the Gills Fancast, which I thought was superbly done by Owen.
Yeah, it was. I really enjoyed it. It took me about 3 days. I had to do it in 3 days.
it was long,
but yeah, it was quality, really good.
But you can tell that he still loves us. He still absolutely adores the football club, and surprisingly never been back for a man that's won the league.
Yeah, you think at some point it should happen.
Yeah, definitely, and it should happen. That manager and that squad of players should be celebrated for what they did. Another special mention I want to make is the late Justin.
Yeah, definitely.
Is that because of his age, we kind of felt more adored to him because he was young, he was enthusiastic, he was modern, he was bright, and he made him. I don't know about you, Matt, but he made me believe in my football club again. He made me love it. The most welcoming, humble guy you can ever meet. Absolutely loved his football. Loved Gills. Absolutely loved us. I remember having an hour-long conversation at Player of the Year do. The year he'd just taken over. So I think
by the end of 14-15.
And his first game Sheffield United at home.
Well, there's always that debate about that, whether it was actually him in charge, because he was in the stand. But
he was in the stand.
But I'd imagine he had some sort of saying big team, and we won 2-0.
But at that Player of the Year we sat on the table and had an hour-long conversation with him about his plans for the future with the football club, where he was going to take us, what he was going to do. And I remember him sitting there and saying to me and looking me in the eyes and going, I will take your football club back to the Championship. Whatever I do, I will do anything to make sure I will get your football club back to the Championship. And hearing when he passed away, I was devastated, absolutely devastated, because I still remember that chat from being at Player of the Year, just got him going, I will make 100% sure that. And he very, very nearly did it. And I remember having a conversation with Lee Martin a while ago, actually. And he told me that Lee was going to sign for us in that January, the January that we actually, unfortunately threw it away. And
January 16.
Yeah, he was going to sign for us. But Justin said he didn't want to upset the apple cart. And he said that Lee was at the Millwall game where we tore him apart at the Den.
Yeah.
And Lee said that he's never seen such. He said obviously Lee had played for Millwall, and he said he's never ever seen a side completely tear a side apart at the Den like that Gillingham side that did that day. He said he remembers sitting back in his seat and thinking, my God, if these boys do not end up in the Championship, it is an absolute joke, because these lot are the best side in the division by a million miles.
Yeah, they were for probably 35 games.
He said that Justin was just. He said he remembers going to meet him in January, coming to Priestfield, Lee Martin, coming to Priestfield, sitting in his office. And he said they just spoke football for 2 hours. It wasn't a chat about Lee coming to Gills or anything like that. It was just Justin speaking to Lee about football, speaking about the good old times. Speaking about, and then it obviously finally come on to why Gillingham. And he said that he made Gillingham sound like United. He said because of the way he sold the football club, he said all I wanted to go was to Gills. He said he spoke about the ambitions of the football club. He said about the chairman, about the new ground that they were going to come and build. He said the players he was going to come and bring in. He just said that Justin was going to take you back to the Championship, 100%. He said he was sacked too early.
Yeah, so, I think we all have the benefit of hindsight now, don't we? And obviously we know that. I mean, we spoke at the time, didn't we? I came on the Last Walks blog, as it was then, straight after Oxford, and he went the next morning. But for me, the replacement wasn't good enough. If we'd known that was going to be the replacement, I'd have said you can't sack him in a million years. But hindsight's a wonderful thing, and all we can do now is sit here and remember the good times and remember Justin fondly, which I think all of the footballing world does.
Yeah, massively. But yeah, what a special man! Man, and very, very, very nearly took us back to where we belong.
Yeah, you're right. In terms of daring to dream and daring to believe for 6 months of that season, what was it, right through to the end of January, we thought we was, at very worst, going to finish in the top 6. And to this day, it is a travesty that we ended up finishing 9th.
But then you speak about Martin, and people compare, I think we mentioned this earlier in the video about people staying away under Steve. He's done a lot of good work, Steve Evans, in terms of bringing back the fans feeling close to the football club again.
I was going to say, yeah, the connectivity seems to be a lot better in terms of, coming over to the Rainham end on a regular basis, and the videos he's done on Zoom while this lockdown ensues and stuff like that, and his giveaways, he doesn't have to do that. And people might say, well, he's just doing it as a publicity stunt. But for whatever reason he's doing it, and he doesn't have to do it. And I think he's been very clever in the sense that he knew coming in, he probably had to work a little harder with our fan base than if it had been somewhere else. And he's done that, and you can't fault him for that. And more importantly, the football's been better than it has been for probably 3 years, and the results have been better than they have been for 3 years. So,
yeah, very true. Yeah, very true. I love Steve. I think he's brilliant. I wanted him when he came in. I think it was time that the football club looked elsewhere. In terms of outside manager, we've had, well, in my eyes, in my opinion, since Justin, the football club's not been good enough on and off the pitch.
Yeah, you're probably right.
And so, yeah, we had a 6 month spell under Steve Lovell, where we were very, very good, very good. But apart from that, it's been nothing short of a shambles. And so, and Steve has brought back a sense of direction, a sense of a good philosophy of what he wants to play. And like we've both said, he's brought back a connection. So,
right. Let's move on from managers. That was decent. That we got through a bit about him. But cult hero, I want to talk about next. Doesn't have to be maybe the best player you've ever seen, technically the best footballer, but just someone who you just couldn't help but smile if you was watching him play, or antics off the pitch or stuff like that.
Cody. Yeah, Cody McDonald. Great guy, great character, but what a finisher. What a finisher. For me, played in. Let's take away his 3-month loan spell of that League Two year, because obviously he come in for a little while, didn't he?
Well, yeah, he played a massive part. I think he scored 4 in 7 games. So
we had Cody at the wrong time in terms of the squad around him. Very good in League Two, but the squad around him wasn't good enough. When he then come back in under Martin permanently, we were on a free fall, really. And was kind of, I think he had his few injury problems and things like that. And I know he had big injury problems under Justin. And then obviously we got the best of him again, round kind of the AD era, the Steve Lovell era, a little bit. But yeah, for me, boy, what a finisher!
He didn't play under Steve Lovell, I don't think.
Did he play a little bit?
No, he went that summer, didn't he?
Did he go that summer? Did he?
16-17 was his last season. AD came in for Justin in the January, didn't he?
Yes.
So he only played 3 months under AD. Yeah.
But I think if we'd kept him fit under Justin and partnered him with Dominic Samuel, boy, Jesus Christ. I think, we probably would have ended up making the championship had we had a fit and fiery Cody and a Dominic Samuel with a Dat behind him. Christ.
Yeah, you're right. Again, it comes back to what we said about Tom Eames. If we kept him this season, there's lots of
exactly
questions
that.
in between. But you'd imagine Cody would have got a few more goals.
I think we had and then obviously, we had Cody under Pete Taylor, didn't we? A very good finisher under managers that didn't really appreciate him and didn't really have a good enough squad around him. You think
also he was hindered later on because of the fact that it was fashionable to play one up top and one behind. So
a little bit. How many times did we try and fit Cody in a side that we were going long ball? We were playing strikers.
Under Justin towards the end, I remember we were playing Cody through the middle, and then we had Jet and Frank Noble one side.
Yeah.
Cody's game. You needed to get one of them right next to him.
Yeah. And so I think we had one of the best finishes that this football club's ever seen at very difficult periods for us, unfortunately.
Yeah, because he's, like you say, done well in League Two and done well in League Two with the loan spell.
Yeah.
But then we was always finishing, well, aside from that season under Justin, we was bottom half side, weren't we, after that, generally?
Yeah, but just the months he brought us the Bristol Rovers goal.
The Wolves goal. The
equaliser against York.
The Walsall goal.
The two goals at Swindon away.
One that sticks in the mind for me is Leighton Orient at home under Taylor, 14-15. We hadn't won at home for about 3 months. We were down to 10 men. Doughty had been sent off for chucking the ball away. We'd been pegged back to 2-2.
Yeah.
And then I think Brennan Dickinson whipped in a corner in the last minute, and I'm pretty sure I snapped a seat in the rain and been jumping around so much. Cody whipped our volley from about 7 yards straight into the bottom corner.
Yeah.
With about a minute left. Just big moments when you need
a kick he scored against Walsall from the edge of the area. Just unbelievable finisher what a great guy. I think another one has got to be Bradley Dack, innit? I know you're only meant to pick one, but how can you leave the Dack man out?
Do you not have him as your greatest ever Gills player then? Or have you got someone else?
Yeah, I mean, I've got someone else. Dacky was unreal. Yeah, unbelievable. You saw from the moment that he started breaking through under Martin that this boy's a talent. And he kind of then really, and that's what makes Justin such a special manager, is that he really then took Dacky under his wing, didn't he? Looked after him, nurtured him, and he'd become what he still is today, a real talent. And by far the best footballer in League One that year. How we didn't end up losing him.
It's weird that he didn't go that summer, isn't it?
Do you remember when he sat on the pitch for a good half an hour when we
after that Millwall game. He literally walked around the whole game. Yeah, because I've got it's 4 years today since that Millwall game, so I've just seen the picture flash up on my Facebook where he had a photo, and literally every fan he took a photo with, and everyone assumed that was his goodbye.
Yeah, I think he assumed it.
And I probably think, looking back now, he probably should have gone that summer as well.
Yeah. Well, would have got a cheeky little, just over $1 million for him. So,
well, I just think he was mismanaged the season after, and
he was,
played out, and sadly,
I don't think he was happy. I don't think he wanted to be there.
His final game was playing defensive midfield against Charlton, and then having a row with a fan afterwards, which is a shame. But
I think the fact, playing holding midfield didn't help. But I think after he'd had such a good year the year before, and I watched back. I think have you noticed where the Gillingham scrapbook on YouTube
started putting more videos
like now? Very good.
Yeah, it's been good. Yeah.
I watched that year that we kind of threw it away under Justin.
I haven't. Yeah, I've not brought myself to do.
Don't. But you don't realise how good Brad was. My God, some of the moments that he had, where he just took the game by the scruff of his neck and was like, "No, this is my moment. I'm going to go and make something happen here." I remember when, we beat MK at home, where Dele Alli played for MK.
That was the season before, wasn't it? Yeah, it was when Justin had just come in. Yeah, 4-2 we beat him.
But he nicked the ball off Dele Alli and left him in a face full of mud. And
drove famous for the game where I think two of their players had put something on Twitter, and Dele Alli might have been one of them, but he wasn't even tweeted and said, "Oh, on the way to Kent to pick up 3 points." Yeah.
He left Dele Alli in a face full of mud, spun a ball in behind for Dom Samuel to go and score. Was it Dom Samuel who scored?
No, that was the season before.
Might be.
John Marquis, I think.
John Marquis, sorry. Yeah, John Marquis, yeah. And so there you go. And that's the talent that he had. And yeah, it's interesting to see why after such a good year at Blackburn, obviously he had the injury. I think he should have moved last summer. He had obviously a great year at Blackburn, got promoted. He then went and scored another 15 goals in the Championship.
Yeah.
Not last season just gone. Why didn't he move? Why didn't he go?
Obviously we're not privy to what goes on behind the scenes, are we?
No, but
he's still got a chance. But
he's still a good age. So
right, you picked 2 really good ones there as cult heroes, then, which has got me intrigued. Greatest ever Gills player you've seen, then?
When I was growing up, Andy Hess, Tyler. I think
and you probably didn't even get to see him at his best.
No,
just putting that out there, because obviously, if you say 2002, again, like if you'd seen him from 97 onwards, he was just absolutely frightening.
But the reason why I've picked him, Matt, is that, like you say, I could have picked Brad. But for me, when I was growing up, he was the reason why I become a Gillingham fan.
Right.
And the simple fact that he wasn't the best ability-wise, but you knew on a Saturday afternoon or a Tuesday night, you were going to get 110% out of Andy. And he loved the football club. He played for the badge. He didn't play for the name on the back. And he got everyone around him, so like just who had probably more ability. But you've obviously spoken to a lot of great legends at the football club on your channel, and all of them give a special mention to Andy Hessenthaler.
Yeah.
And all of them say what a great guy he was, what a great character, what a great leader. But yeah, a great footballer. And the reason why I still support this football club is down to him. Such a shame that his managerial spell at the football club didn't work out.
Well, it worked out the first time.
Yeah. Well, yeah. In terms of
that's what people tend to forget. We all sort of remember now the 10-11 and 11-12, but
yeah,
again, it's football's fine margins, isn't it? And he was within a goal and then 2 points of getting us in the playoffs. But
yeah,
obviously he was employed to do a job and he didn't quite do it. He come up short. But for me, it doesn't detract from anything that he's achieved with the football club, because he was just Well, he's Mr. Gillingham for me. That is how I describe Andy Hessen's.
Yeah, and I think if you could vote our best player of the decade, it's him, isn't it? It's
I'd
him.
put him in there if we was doing best player of ever, best player of all time.
Best
And I've
player
not seen plenty of players, but I think if you ask people that were going in the 60s, the 70s, I think if you said do a top 5, I think Hesse's in.
Yeah, not decade. Sorry, not decade, but best player ever.
Probably 90% of people's top 5s.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think. Yeah, what a man! What a guy! Great guy as well. Great character.
Yeah.
But yeah, epitomises what everything Gillingham Football Club is, and everything Gillingham Football Club is about. And when you say Gillingham Football Club, it equals Andy Essenthaler. And so
yeah, you can't help but be drawn back to him when you talk about moments. And I remember speaking to Saabs a few weeks ago, bless him, and he laughed. And I said, "What was your reaction?" Because he didn't play that game at Stoke, the player second leg in 2000, and he was injured. And he said, "I was watching at home," and he said, "All I could think of when Essie smashed it in from 30 yards was not, oh, we're back in the tie here, or we've got a chance to get to the..." He said, "I was just so happy for Essie and his little face." That was how he described it. "I was so happy for Essie and his little face." That just said to me straight away, he's right up here in terms of how highly regarded he was held by players, teammates, coaches, managers, and probably more importantly, the fans. Yeah. Anyway, you've mentioned Cody, you've mentioned Dacky, you've mentioned Hesse. Do they make your Gillingham all-time six-a-side team?
Christ. Yeah, so I'll go
with goalie.
Sorry?
Start with your goalkeeper.
Oh, this is tough. This is
this should have been research, James. This is poor.
It's so tough, mate. Honestly, because Jason Brown was unbelievable goalkeeper. So was Nels. So was Simon Royce. Royce didn't play. Royce, how long did Royce have with us?
I think he was on loan the back end of the season. We got relegated into League Two, and then he obviously played the whole campaign when we went back up. And then I think he was involved in a car crash, and then I think he got released a little while after that.
That was it, wasn't it? Jason Brown. Got to go Jason Brown. Yeah.
Big shout.
Yeah, got to go Jason Brown.
Right.
Unbelievable shot stopper. Great kicker of the ball. Very vocal. Just reliable. So reliable.
Right, defenders or defender, depending on how many you've got.
2.
Go on in.
Going for John Egan.
No explanation needed.
Simple as that, innit? Premier League footballer.
Premier League captain, international footballer. Could be a Champions League footballer next season, potentially.
As soon as he walked through the door, and as soon as I saw him play, I thought, yeah, we're not keeping you for very long.
Yeah, we done well to have him for 2 seasons, I think, didn't we?
Yeah. Next to him, it's got to be the man that led us to the League Two title, isn't it?
Barrett.
Adam Barrett. Barrett. No nonsense. Perfect, isn't it? The perfect 2.
Yeah, I think that's probably complement themselves quite nicely.
Yeah, one's a great ball playing centre half. The other one's just no nonsense, kicks people, but you ain't getting past him. How many have we got left, Matt? 3?
You've got 3, so you can either have 2 midfielders and a striker, or a midfielder and 2 strikers, or...
I'll go 2 midfielders then. I'll go Bradley Dack.
Is it the 2 you've already mentioned?
Yeah, I'll go Brad Dack and S in the midfield. 1 very, very good on the ball. Will score me bundles of goals and 6-a-side.
They're a good height for 6-a-side as well, them 2.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And the other one will just kick people, won't he? And that's perfect. Yeah. And then the other one, one of the best finishers we've seen. That's the thing. I'd go and say like Carla Saber and Bob Taylor and things like that, but I didn't see them. There's no point in me saying that because...
So it's Cody, I take it.
Yeah, Cody. It's got to be Cody. Cody. What a great finisher. and has given me some of the best memories of my life. Special mentions, go to Keds up top. He's going to hate me because I'm good friends with Keds, so he'll kill me if he sees this. And then you look at midfielders. One very, very underrated midfielder, but when I was growing up, what a player, Smudger, Paul Smith.
And again, you got him at the back end of his Gills career. I mean, again, he arrived in '97 and he was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, unreal. Southall, Nicky, you can put in there, Nicky Southall.
It makes you think, doesn't it? When you do sit down and take the time, you think we've had some bloody good footballers over the years, and it ain't been as bad as maybe we make out a lot of the time.
But then you then also go back and look at the centre halves that I missed out on. My God,
Simon King.
I love, Kingy's unreal. I love Kingy.
Trying to think, Chris Oak would have still been there when you started. Coxley.
Yeah, but I missed out on Guy. I think Barry was. I think Barry Effley was coming towards the end of his time.
No, Guy would have left before Barry.
Guy left, didn't he?
I think Guy went that summer, 2002, went to Brighton, and Barry was there till 2005.
Yeah. So I kind of obviously got the end of that of him, but that's what I'm gutted about, is that I missed all of that. I gladly missed the Man City game, but like I would have loved to go to that Wigan Wembley playoff final, and I would have loved all that and proper experience. I experienced the Championship years, but not properly, and so gutted, absolutely gutted. And
but I'm flipping it because I missed pretty much the whole of the League Two title winning season. It's all swings and roundabouts.
I'm always watching videos back and things like that of those years and things like that, and it makes you proud to be a Gills fan.
Yeah, you're right.
But it also strikes me that the club has got so much potential of getting back there.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Right, I think that's a good point to end it.
Yeah.
One hell of a six-a-side team. I'd like to watch that team play, I think. Right, Gills fans, you know where we all are. We're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook and YouTube. As I've already said, go and check out James on Twitter. Check out the Gills Fancast. Follow the new Inside the Changing Room podcast as well. They've got some good content coming out. Keep staying safe, please. Keep sticking to all the guidelines. And until next time, up the Gills.